Are you taking Chandler's last name? Are you Bindi Powell now, or are you sticking with Bindi Irwin?
I've kept Bindi Irwin. I think that for me personally, after Dad passed away, it was really important for me to feel close to him, and having his last name means so much to me.
I now pronounce you husband and wife.
Yes.
Chandler, you may kiss the bride.
Bindi and Chandler, the newlyweds, thank you for joining us on ET. You're 2 months in. How is newlywed life?
Wow.
First of all, it is amazing to have gotten married. We are so grateful to take on this new era as a married couple, but it has been a really funny time. We have spent our honeymoon here at Australia Zoo caring for 1,200 animals. It's been really fun.
It's been slightly crazy. So shortly after we got married, the zoo had to temporarily close, which was unbelievable due to everything going on in the world. And our hearts go out to everybody who's affected by this global pandemic. It's just truly unbelievable. But it's been great, I would expect nothing less of an Irwin honeymoon.
Oh, completely. And we've been filming it all too. So I think it's an Irwin family tradition to get married. And Terry and Steve went up and caught crocodiles with the film crew, and we're here at the zoo with the film crew.
It's true. Mom and Dad's honeymoon was spent catching crocs with an entire film crew. So, we tried to set the bar even higher with
You guys,
the whole zoo being temporarily closed.
you couldn't be more on brand. I have to ask you, did you have a different honeymoon planned? Was there a trip that you had to scrap?
Yes.
This was not the plan originally.
No, so a while back, because I'm originally from Florida, we planned to do a honeymoon road trip, seeing the best sights of Australia. So going to Central Desert, going down to Tasmania, and that quickly changed.
It's funny, Originally Robert had said, my amazing brother, he had said that when we go on our honeymoon that he was just gonna tag along. And we all had a really good laugh, and turns out he was right.
Yeah.
So Mum and Robert have been part of our honeymoon every day, and so is the rest of the Australia Zoo team, and what more could a girl want? As the world is facing so many challenges that we consider ourselves very, very lucky to be healthy and safe and with the ones that we love in a beautiful part of the world, and doing the best we can to keep our animals happy and healthy. It's been a mission. Oh my gosh, we're married. Finally.
Are you used to calling each other husband and wife yet?
Oh my goodness.
It's so special. We always say we feel like we've been married for years, but to finally officially have a ring on our fingers is awesome. I mean, it is so cool introducing you as my wife.
I love that. And saying, this is my husband, this is my husband.
And this is my wife.
That was so great.
Are you taking Chandler's last name? Are you Bindi Powell now, or are you sticking with Bindi Irwin?
That's a really good question. I've kept Bindi Irwin. I think that for me personally, after Dad passed away, it was really important for me to feel close to him, and having his last name means so much to me. But I think that for us, sharing car keys is just as much like taking each other's last name.
Completely.
I feel like Chandler's become an Irwin now.
Yeah, totally.
Which is awesome. But I think that, we'll both always have our car keys on. And,
you're an Irwin through and through. Yeah. We talked about it a lot, and you're an Irwin.
Yeah. It's a part of me. But I think it's really special though. Everyone has their own unique ideas when they get married. The nice thing is that it's 2020 now, so anything works.
This is such an incredibly special day, and of course, not everybody could be here, who we love so much because of the current global crisis.
What was it like for you emotionally to have to shelve the plans that you'd been working on for quite a while and readjust?
Yeah, first of all, I have to say, you handled it like a champion. I mean, you always hear stories of brides kind of panicking when little things go wrong. I think everything went different to plan with our wedding, but you handled it so well. I kept checking in on Bindi whenever there was a slight change, saying, "Are you okay? Are you all good?" And every time she's like, "No, we'll just roll with it. At the end of the day, we're getting married, and that's the important thing." So first of all, thank you for being such an amazing bride.
Oh, no, it was because of you that I was so calm. Chandler's has the most calming presence. It was very nice having you there just to say everything's gonna be okay. But it was crazy. First and foremost, we wanted to make sure that everyone's health and safety was the priority. So, whatever happens in life, we just want everyone to be happy. So we made that decision not to have any guests at our wedding to make sure everyone was safe. We had to change the actual date of our wedding day. So we were going to get married on the 4th of April, and then everything was just getting too hectic, so we decided to bump it up to the 25th, which is unreal. I still go, wait, was that actually the date that we got married? Was it the 25th? Because I can't remember.
Wait, what's our anniversary? Okay.
You lock in the 4th of April for so long and then go, wow. But after that, we finally got everything sorted. Chandler's family were incredible.
Yeah.
They decided that it wouldn't work for them to be able to make the journey. So they were so kind and said, continue on with the wedding. We love you, we support you. And that gave us that push to think, we really might be able to do this.
Yeah, because they're all in Florida, so having their support meant the world. And even though they weren't there on the day, they were definitely celebrating from far. They were so happy.
I was about to walk down that aisle in front of our African savannah, and suddenly a media helicopter flew over all of us and started blowing everything away and terrifying all of our animals. They were stealing our baby rhinos and giraffes, and everyone was running around, and so we had to entirely shift our wedding ceremony as we were about to get married. So we changed all of that, and I remember I was in my wedding dress. We found this one of our beautiful old, it's like a barn where we filmed Crocodile Hunter and Bindi the Jungle Girl. And I went, this is gonna work. It's inside, our animals will be safe, the helicopter will be. And I was there in my wedding dress putting up flowers and moving tables, trying to make it work, and we somehow got married. It may not have been a traditional wedding, and normal, it was not. it was the opposite of a normal wedding, but it was our perfect, and that's the reality of life. Life is messy and crazy and filled with obstacles, and what an incredible foundation to base a marriage on is overcoming anything and just focusing on love.
Do you have plans to, when you can, go on a honeymoon or have a party and that kind of thing?
Yeah.
Definitely. So we've been calling my family in Florida a whole lot after we got married, just reveling in the excitement. But we definitely are planning something as soon as the world settles down and everyone is safe, visiting my family and having, whether it's a reception or a backyard cookout, just celebrating with them, just to keep the wedding happiness going.
I promise to be your strength and your light when you need it. My husband, my teammate, and my partner in conservation.
Bindi, you were tearing up when you were saying your vows to Chandler. What was hitting you in that moment?
That emotion just kind of comes at you like a freight train. And I think it was a mix of pure joy and feeling the weight of everything we've gone through. It's a mix of emotions, missing people that couldn't be there, whether it was because of the pandemic or them kind of looking over us now from above. Chandler started to tear up a little bit when he was giving his vows.
Definitely.
So I think when he gets, because he doesn't usually get super emotional, I think when I watched him start to get emotional, it just hit me even harder.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No, it's good.
When you're in the moment with the person you love, it just all overcomes you and almost just feels like a dream.
Yeah.
Well, you guys, you still managed to have all those beautiful traditions, the cake, and you looked like you had a dance. What was your wedding song? Did you have one? I know you love to dance, Bindi.
It's true. Actually, it was Here Comes the Sun by the Beatles. I love that song so much, and I've always said that Chandler's like my sunshine. So it was really, really special just to unwind and relax. And we worked so hard the night before because we didn't know what we were gonna do with the wedding.
No.
So the night before we went, look, tomorrow we're just getting married. And so it was
the night before. You didn't have any clue what the plan was.
I had no idea.
No, it was about 10 p.m. the night before, and we got a wedding together in about 14 hours for the next day.
Yeah, so we just went, we're just doing this. I don't care. I was on the phone with Mum and Dad's best mate, Wes, and Robert. And we just all were talking, and I went, look, the world is changing so much. We need to just get married. And so we just decided at 10 p.m. that night that the next day we'd get married. So quite literally, we're calling people going, hey, do you have a wedding cake? I called, my wedding dress wasn't even ready. I called the beautiful women and said, can you please come help me and fit the dress to me? So they drove to the zoo like an hour just to get the dress fitted last minute, and
Yeah.
it was phenomenal. I said on the phone at 10 p.m. at night, I'll go to the grocery store and buy all their flowers and we'll be fine. It was really weird, but it worked.
Yeah, it all came together.
The people that couldn't be here because they're watching over us now, and there are guiding lights. And this candle is to represent Dad, who I wish could have been here in person.
When you lit that candle for him and had the photo of him there, how did you choose that photo? Why is that one so special?
Oh, I love that photo so much. It's probably one of my favorite photos of Dad ever taken, because he's with his beautiful dog, Suey. And I got my middle name, Sue. I was named after both family dog, Suey. So she's always held a special place in my heart. And growing up, she was one of the very first animals I loved.
Chandler, I loved how you said that, you know, Steve was the reason you were even standing there, because he was your childhood hero. If he had been able to be there in person, what would you have wanted to say to him on that day?
Oh, wow. You know, I think the biggest thing I would like to say is just thank you on behalf of the world, and especially me, for inspiring my love of wildlife. Growing up in Florida, we had alligators and snakes and turtles, and watching the Steve documentaries and my khakis when I was 4 years old really made me fall in love with all forms of wildlife. So in a way, he brought us together, because when I came to Australia after watching his documentaries, I wanted to come visit Australia Zoo. And that was when we met. Bindi was giving me a tour of Australia Zoo on that day when I came to visit. So the biggest thing I would like to say to him is just thank you for inspiring my passion in life, and also bringing me and Bindi together. Because if it weren't for him, I don't know how we would have met.
It's true.
You know, I've never asked you guys this. Chandler, did you, for lack of a better term, make a move that day? Did you say, hey, can I get your email address? How did you guys go from a tour to now being married?
It's actually a really funny story. So I came to the zoo, and coincidentally, Bindi was giving tours that day. And I knew immediately this girl is really special. I mean, we just connected immediately. So I wanted to go about it in a way that was respectful, because we became friends first, and then best friends, and then finally it evolved into a relationship. So I reached out to Bindi through my brother, actually writing a note to Australia Zoo and Terry saying, hey, I really had a great time on the tour. Would it be okay if Chandler kept in touch with Bindi? And I think we swapped email addresses initially, and then finally phone numbers.
Well, first Mom came to me and she's like, who is this guy? He's perfect. Why are you guys together?